Lovely afternoon. All of you, welcome. This is Game Plan on 99.7 Joe FM. I'm your host, Fentuo Tahiru Fentuo. We are on from now till 3 o'clock. Welcome to the show. Game Plan is your most authoritative sports talk show on radio right here in Ghana. Welcome aboard. The show is streaming live on Facebook, also live on Twitter Spaces, as well as on YouTube on the Joy Sports handle. So look for us there and join the show. It's live and interactive on this network, 99.7 Joy FM. Yeah, your opinions and all of your thoughts on what we'll be talking about today are very much welcome. You can join us using the hashtag GamePlan on Twitter or on the WhatsApp number 055-1111-997. So what's on the menu today? Quite a lot, I bet. We had said that we would continue with the quiz today, but given what's transpired throughout this week, and I mean a lot has happened in the world of sports, we will be dissecting every single one of those topics, beginning with Monday's Congress, which many have labeled as a campaign platform for those in power. Quite a lot of promises were made by the GFA administration. Kurt Ekreku had come to render his stewardship. As we approach the elections, now every single thing anyone says is scrutinized even more with magnifying glasses. We'll put some balance into it. But also on Wednesday, they followed it up, the Ghana Football Association, that is, with the launch of what Kurt Ekreku, the GFA president, describes as the biggest gift to Ghana football. It's a document that basically outlines the way Ghana football should be played. A philosophical approach, a theoretical approach to how our football development should go from what level, under 9 level, all the way to the under 23 level. He says it's an amalgamation of agro and the multi-system. But what is its name? Well, they couldn't tell us. Somebody said it's agro-multi. Multi-agro. So there is that, of course. We'll look at the details of that and look at the practicality of it. Then there was a World Cup draw yesterday. World Cup qualifying draw. The journey to the 2026 World Cup. The Black Stars in a group of 6. Group I. Say I. Group I. That's where the Black Stars find themselves. With teams they have struggled to beat recently. And you must top your group to qualify to the World Cup. It's 9 groups of 6 teams each. The top of the group will all automatically qualify for the World Cup. Africa will have 9 representatives. And there's a quarter slot. And that quarter slot will be determined by the teams that plays, the 4 teams that plays second. They'll play a mini tournament. Then the winner will go and play an intercontinental playoff. And if they win, then they become the 10th team to represent Africa. But you want to avoid all of that long journey. The guaranteed way of qualifying is by topping your group. And Ghana has to beat Mali, the Central African Republic, Madagascar, Comoros. All teams they have struggled to beat recently. Will the World Cup qualifiers be any different this time around? We'll look at that as well here on the show. And there are some transfers to talk about. That's what we'll wrap up with on the show here on 99.7 Joy FM. This is Game Plan. My name is Fentuo Tahiru Fentuo. The WhatsApp number is 055-1111-997. Let's hear from you. Do you think the Black Stars have it in them to qualify? Remember, it's not just about beating one team in the group. It's about winning. This is a league. It's about beating 5 other teams. And out of those 15 points, you want to be the team in that group to secure the most. Yeah, that's a lot, huh? That's actually 30. What, 5 teams, 5 times 3. Yeah, 15. Huh? 5 times 3, 15. Plus another 5 times 3. 30. 30 points available. That's a lot, too. That's 10 games. 10 games in the group in order to qualify for the World Cup. How many points can the Black Stars get? But more importantly, can they amass more points than all the others? That's what we're talking about here on the show today. Good afternoon and welcome. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce my guest today, this afternoon. And of course, as the regular guys are here, Gary L. Smith, Sichofe Philip Achrim, Daniel Cranting. And today on the show, we are joined by Amini Shadow, Black Stars team manager. But guys, Shadow.
I brought all the documents. I brought all the documents.
Oh, make us see it. Make a hold some.
They are not your documents.
Make a hold some. Make a hold some,
They are
bro.
not your documents. They are my documents.
Make a hold some.
Shadow, you've come with a couple. What documents do you have?
Three different books.
You have your diary.
You can see the diary here.
They have the DNA.
The new National Bible
And they
for
have
football.
the elite training project.
I have both soft copy and hard copy.
Oh, guy.
I came prepared.
Aga.
You are handling a national document like some national security document.
It is a national treasure. You know. That you were there. The
greatest
gift to Ghana football.
You see how people were
scrambling for it. Even you were all over the place.
You see, this is the life I don't understand. You've launched a document. The media are supposed to help push whatever it is that you put in that document, and not necessarily the details, but the agenda itself. And we need to understand the agenda.
Right.
We need to understand the philosophy to help disseminate the information and help all the stakeholders. Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Come to my studio. Let me finish.
This is not the GFA.
This is not Twitter space.
This is not the GFA.
And it's not Twitter space.
This is not Black Stars Camp.
Get yourself over there.
You understand?
But you should have told me you were also prepared for me. You should have told me.
But I'm saying that you've come holding the book, and this is the first time any of us has actually seen this book in physical copy.
The guys say make cannot touch the thing, sir.
You say we will not touch him.
See the way Gary the Jane body from.
It's only Danny. Danny is the only person.
But on a more serious note, at the launch, you saw the way they unveiled the book. In fact, Holy Communion.
Holy Grail.
No.
Hey, Daniel,
Holy
what did
Grail.
you
See.
He said, small boys.
Then they hold that thing like they covered it with some this thing.
Ghana
Ghana flag.
They were walking. Be careful. Be careful.
Fence.
Then they got to Harry.
Let
Then
them-
Harry removed
Put
it.
the Ghana flag.
Viewers and listeners should be aware that this thing was planned. You told me about this
No,
plot 2 days ago.
But
please
but
put in a
first,
disclaimer.
When
you
it comes
planned
to
this script, how you are going to describe how it was. You planned it.
when it comes to
Please let
Keche,
them know.
Yes,
when it
Keche,
comes to Keche.
Yes.
Ket Simeon Okraku's administration, when it comes to Keche,
Yes.
they know how to do it. Yeah, now the money let's package something. Let's do something on a day.
You know how we call it.
From his days from the FA Cup, the time he was the chairman.
Yes.
When it comes to Keche,
You know how
that one day.
you know how they call it. Skirmishes.
Small skirmishes. On a more serious note,
They carry that thing like Holy Communion.
I'm happy to be
It's
here.
good to have you, bro.
To be in the midst of my brothers.
Yeah.
The only
Yes, good to
my
have
people.
the only thing missing that day.
Was the halo.
My brother.
You know what?
Then they will be spreading the smoke. Then they
And then the chant. Spiritual.
The incense.
You know that we planned this. Have you forgotten? You told me about this. What do you call it? The Turin shroud.
Yes.
Yeah.
That shroud. Yes.
Which is rumored to have been what Jesus was buried with.
Yes.
That's how they unveiled the thing.
I'm telling you. I'm telling
The
you.
problem is it is the savior of our football.
Yes.
Kesokrati calls it.
Also in the script.
Anyway, I mean,
He
welcome.
says
Thank you.
it's the biggest gift to Ghana football. But it wasn't Ketokreku who made the news. Instead, it was this man.
One of the biggest challenges, especially for our GFA, is a lot of negativity here in the country. I would beg all stakeholders to implement such a thing like this, to help each other, to be positive. Media people, there is too much negativity. Everybody talks about football. Give solutions. Be positive. Work together. Sports Ministry, Ministry of Education, our GFA, private sponsors for football. We have to come closer together to get these things done.
All right, so that's Ben Harlipert. He says we talk a lot in this country, and most of the talk is negative. He says let's talk positive things into our football. It will bring sponsors. It will bring, and he says our football. We have to all be positive. So a rallying call for him. He said we should give solutions. Okay, and the solutions to our football is not what? Let's ask it.
The solution to our football problems is not to defame people. The solution to our football problems is not to forge documents to mislead the public. The solution to our football problems is not about NDC and MPP, because football goes beyond political affiliations.
That's right. So that's kicked. That's not the solution to our football. In fact, if that was the solution to our football, he would have done what?
Because what we all forget is that by virtue of where I sit, I hold the files to everybody who has worked in the football ecosystem. I can use same to defame people, to malign people, and most importantly, to tarnish the greater good of our football. But that is not the way, and I will not do that.
Okay.
Yes. DJ.
Yes. I'm mixing. I'm mixing the voice.
I'm
I'm mixing the voice. But you see, this is my all-time favorite voice from Congress. So I'm going to play it again.
Because what we all forget is that by virtue of where I sit, I hold the files to everybody who has worked in the football ecosystem. I can use same to defame people, to malign people, and most importantly, to tarnish the greater good of our football. But that is not the way, and I will not do that.
I won't do that because I love Ghana football. So that's from Ket. To those of you who are using and forging documents to malign and defame people, stop, because that is not the way. Because if that was the way, Ket could have done it easily because he has all the documents. Quick! He has all the documents. Quick! You know what? There's a lot to talk about, and I don't want us to waste too much time there because we also have to talk about the draw, which is an extremely important part of the future of our football. Going to the World Cup in 2026 is more important than going to the World Cup anywhere else. I swear. I swear. See, if
What is this?
I swear. 2026 World Cup if you see, let me tell you, 2026 World Cup
Destiny changer.
to be co-hosted by the United States of America, by Canada, Mexico, you see, and by Mexico, who add Mexico. It doesn't matter. Please, don't worry.
The
2026 World Cup is the most important World Cup in the history of Ghana. Do you understand me?
Bro.
The football players, please. The ministry can increase the bonuses for them. They can do bonus agitation. Who support them? My brother.
Just qualify.
My brother.
Just qualify.
2026. United States of America.
America.
Please, the fans will even do susu and contribute to the bonuses. Just as long as they qualify.
Just qualify.
Just
Qualify.
Just
2026 destiny changer.
Just
qualify.
Just
qualify.
No,
my brother.
Game changer will do it.
That's it. My brother.
Game changer will do it.
My brother. Switch off.
Game changer will do it.
My brother.
On here World Cup next year, game changer.
They be game changer. This is the first time where the World Cup means more to the fans than the people involved. I'm telling you. The World Cup. See, the management committee. They don't go and take 100,000. We know vex. As long as we are also there. As long as every Ghanaian can go and support the national team. Because supporting the national team is an extremely important exercise. Especially at the World Cup in 2026. You understand me? So we'll get there.
It took you 2026 to come to this realization.
Huh?
It took you 2026 to come to this realization.
Some World Cups are more important.
Thank you.
Okay.
But you, Shadow, you do you know? You are joking. What the hell?
But
You want me to open the keys?
I've told the boys, 2026, whether they like it or not, we'll play the World Cup. If they like, make them qualify. If they like, make them no qualify.
Hey, don't say that.
I'll be
Don't
there.
say that.
No, I'm saying.
Hey, don't say that.
No, I'm saying. If they qualify, it will be better than the watch World Cup with Ghana day inside.
Yes.
But if they don't qualify, me,
Still
if God preserve my money, give
Still
me long life, give me good health, I will be there.
You know what? Since we're on that note, let me just get that out of the way. It's a very tricky group in that, and I say tricky, not difficult, because on paper, traditionally, we shouldn't have a problem. Because we have been in World Cup qualifying groups with Mali before. 2010, we were in the same group. We got 6 points from Mali. Koja Samoa, we beat them away from home. We came here, we beat them as well. Okay? You know, things have changed. The last time we played Mali, they beat Ghana by 3-0 in a friendly game. The last time Ghana played against Central African Republic, the game ended 1-1. The last time Ghana played against Madagascar, who are also in Ghana's group, the game ended 0-0. The last time Ghana played against Comoros, who are also in the group, the game ended 3-2 in favor of Comoros. What's the other team?
We've not played Chad.
Chad. We've not played Chad recently. Yeah. But given our history, that's another draw.
Following the probability.
If you strike the probability.
Yeah.
So, on paper, not necessarily difficult, but tricky. And like I said, the most important thing in playing games like this is not necessarily to beat the top team in the group, but to win even the so-called smaller games, which is where we have struggled in recent years. And that's why I call it tricky. Sicho, I'll begin with you. I mean, I don't know what the thoughts were in your mind when you saw the draw, because my initial thought was, okay, this is manageable. And then it started to dawn on me that we haven't necessarily done well against the so-called smaller teams. And I say so-called because they may not necessarily be smaller. What are your thoughts on the group?
Well, personally, I thought, irrespective of the pot in which Ghana was going to be, pot 1, 2, 3, it didn't matter for me. Because of our current performances or at the level at which we are playing, I always thought that any group that Ghana would have fallen into would have been a tricky one. Go through the group from A to I. Any group that Ghana would have fallen into would have been a tricky one, because in more recent times, we don't travel well. And even when we've played at home, have we been convincing? Not so much, even at home in more recent times. So you look at the draw, and as you rightly said, it looks like on paper, just hearing the names of the countries Ghana will be playing against, it shouldn't be a problem for Ghana, right? Yeah. And I even have a feeling that when the draw was happening, almost everybody, those in the pot 1, most of them didn't even want to face Ghana.
Exactly.
Anytime that Ghana's name, like a country's name was mentioned, and then Ghana wasn't in their group, like they were happy. And even for the pot 1 teams, when they were mentioning their groups, and they kept, they were not getting into the eye because their names kept coming up before the eye. They were celebrating it, because in the minds of people, Ghana is still a powerhouse. Because historically, in the last 4 World Cups, in the last 5 World Cups, we've been there 4 times.
Yeah.
Right? Which means we've been there 4 times. In the last 5 World Cups.
One.
We only missed one in 2018. So they know what Ghana is.
So in the last 4, we've been there 3.
The last 4 we've been there 3. Yes. Right. So they know what country Ghana is. No, the last 4. In the last 5, we've been there 4. 2006, 2010, 2014. And then
you're right.
Last 5 we've been there 4.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
So they know Ghana is used to this stage, and nobody really wants to play Ghana because of the name that it comes with.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
that's for pedigree's sake.
Absolutely.
But
because of the name,
in reality,
but when you look at the draw, and you don't, like you said, when you look at the draw, you thought like this is a good group.
Yeah.
But now it has to dawn on you that the name is not going to play,
right.
as the name hasn't played recently. It has to dawn on you that we have to put in the performances. Unfortunately, we've not been able to put up convincing performances in more recent times, even against these same teams in the group.
And the familiarity is what really strikes me.
And everybody says, "Oh, Ghana, we know them. We played Comoros recently. We played Madagascar recently.
Central African Republic recently.
They also played us.
Yes.
So if you are thinking we know them, they too they know us.
Yes.
Right. So it goes both ways. So the good thing is it's going to be played over 2 years.
Yes.
And 2 years in football is a very long time.
A lot can change.
You've got players who can pick astronomical form. But the reverse is true. The national team you see now that you think the future is bright.
It can sink further.
It can also sink.
True.
So I sit here and I'm a very confused Ghanaian fan who can't bet 100% that it's going to be easy, because you can't qualify to the World Cup if you're away from. Listen, you can win all your home games.
Yeah.
You can win all your home games, but if you cannot win sometimes close to all 50% of your away games, you are in trouble from topping the group and automatically qualifying. Listen, we've got the right material. We've got good enough players.
Yeah.
Can we put together a good enough team to beat these teams in the qualifiers? That would be the ask.
Can we step up when
it matters?
Yes, because I genuinely feel like, based on the squad that we have, if we show up, and we play to the capacity of the squad,
yes,
we are more than capable of qualifying.
On paper,
I think our
we are
biggest
better.
problem has been that the team has been under delivering.
Absolutely, and that is why most of them. So look at Kudus, they look at Pate, they look at Kamodi, they look at there's Dede, there's Amate, there's
Osman.
Man, there's Osman Bukari,
Pencil,
there's
players in top
Salas,
form.
There's Ashmeru, and all the countries are going to play are going to look at. These guys have got genuine quality, and even we are going to be thinking the same. But when the game starts, as we've seen in more recent times, it doesn't tell. We don't see the Pate that we think we know. We don't see the Kuduses. We don't see them. But this is a World Cup. They need to show up.
I mean, not in your capacity as team manager, obviously. Yeah. You've covered World Cup qualifiers. How does this group compare to the ones we've seen in previous times?
Well, the difference here is that we don't have a big fish to look up to map up strategy against.
Okay, we don't have Asamoah.
No. For instance, if we had, say, an Egypt, a Morocco, or a Senegal in our group, we'll be here focusing on how to beat the others, but then we'll prepare very especially for teams like Morocco, Senegal, and all the likes. The reason why this one is very, very difficult, and I think Cicho made the point, we found it very difficult beating some of these sides in recent times. For me, my first impression was that perhaps it's divine. Perhaps we are being given an opportunity to correct the wrongs in our recent past. Okay, if we are going to make it to the World Cup, it means that we need to get results against these teams. And if we get results against this team, then probably would have avenged the poor results and the poor showing we've had against these
So it's
clubs.
double joy.
Yeah, so I saw it as an opportunity for us to correct, the wrongs that we've made in the past, especially in the Comoros, Central African Republic,
Madagascar,
and then Madagascar. It gives us an opportunity. But like you said, it also gives them an opportunity to inflict more pain and misery on us. So
I feel like Mali would be feeling very confident.
They should be,
but
because their record against Ghana recently.
The reason why I want us to also feel confident is that
at all levels,
in the past 20 years or so, in qualification to the World Cup, we've shown that, except for the lead up to the 20, even with that, it was because of exceptional circumstances. We all know.
Yeah.
But when it came to qualifiers for the World Cup, when it came to the crunch, Ghana has always showed up.
Yeah.
That's true. Ghana has always showed up when it came to the crunch. When the chips were down, when you needed a result, in some instances we even out impressed ourselves. If
like against Nigeria.
Like against Nigeria, like against Egypt. Yeah. In that playoffs.
6-1.
The 6-1. So I'll draw a lot of inspiration from that. When it comes to the World Cup qualifier, you understand? For the 2018, we all know that it was it was a very, very tough situation. I don't think we could go down below than what we did in 2018. That lead up to the qualifiers.
And even 2018, to be fair,
even with that, we had an opportunity.
Feel like against
Congo.
Uganda.
We lost it.
Against
right
Uganda, Amate scored a clean goal last minute. Exactly. It was disallowed. And then the Congo game at home, we had no business drawing that.
Yes. When it comes to the World Cup qualifiers, no matter how bad the situation has been, I'm very, very confident that we can draw a lot of inspiration from our performance in qualifications, and hopefully, like you said, we know we have the materials. We just have to be able to deploy them to play at their optimum. Once we do that, we know how good we could be, judging from the individual qualities of these players. If we're able to get all comes together and we play at their optimum, we should be there, and hopefully we will be there.
Philippe Nkokrobite, I was struggling with because the GFA didn't label the football that the DNA, the philosophy. Ket Oli said it's an amalgamation of the multi-system of Samade and Agro of the Ibrahim Sandys and the 70s. And somebody, Philippe Nkokrobite says he sends the correct one. He said it is called Agro Malt. The GFA didn't name it, so now it's open.
It's open.
In fact, I'm asking game planners right now, what name should we give our new football DNA?
I gave you a hint.
That the GFA did not name. Huh?
Multi-agro.
Please, the people said they don't like multi-agro.
Agro malt.
Somebody says agro malt. Agro malt. Gary, let me come to you. Listen, the World Cup qualifiers, Amini said it. We have a bit of a good history. But then again, we've had good history even at the AFCON. We were always making it to the semi-finals. We always had a good record in AFCON qualifying too. We never went to the last game without qualifying. But that's where we are now. Why should anybody be confident that the 2026 qualifiers would be different?
Yeah, that pedigree, unfortunately, is not something that we can stand up and be too confident about. Right. Because of the recent circumstances. To add to that, I was talking about Mali and the fact that they have been beating us black and blue in men's and women's football at all levels, from under 17 to 20 to 23 to senior team. In fact, they've been our bogey side from 2012. They beat us necessary and superior. Bukumbangu says, right? You remember we faced them a couple of third place matches. Yeah. And then in one tournament, we faced them twice. Yeah, in the group stage and then at the knockout stage. But in recent years, they've been really showing us Pepe, So, based on that, I'm just hoping that, the technical team know exactly what. To the credit of this current sports ministry, they've been standing up to be counted when it can. And he's a team manager. If that is not so, he'll tell me. Mm-hmm. You've not heard, especially with Mustafa Usif in charge, barely. And even the athletics people will tell you that they are traveling. It's better than what is normal. So on that side, on the government side, and he even had the vim, to come and hint it openly at the Congress. It takes a certain amount of confidence to come to Congress and come and tell the football people that we are doing everything. So you people to do your part. So on the government side, I think that our listeners know, or if they don't know, we are giving them that insight, that it's been the relationship between the FA and the ministry.
At the senior level.
Yeah, at the senior level.
At the junior level, some way.
Yeah, by the senior level, which matters.
Will give it to him.
So which is good.
But to be
so
fair,
which is one part of the.
How many times have we had issues at the senior level, apart from 2014 World Cup?
Charlie, plenty times.
No, 2018. Pre-2018.
Jan had to charter a flight.
I go 2006, 2010. They were but
I could argue that we didn't qualify for 2018 because the issues were at the senior level.
Yes.
Yeah, but also because post 2014, there really was no support. It was like everybody gave up on the World Cup. It's like World Cup on the Eddie brain.
Exactly.
You kind of get it.
Exactly.
So there was an attitudinal issue.
On the government side, that's great and that's very important. Yeah. So what is left is the football itself. You see, and you follow lots of comments yesterday. People have broadly, should I say 3 or 4 issues? One, everybody is like, if this group that we are in, if we select the right players on merit, really should it be a problem? Oh, you say we are going to meet Mali, even now, and we cast our mind, we cast the net around the world and select the most informed, correct and in their position. Black Stars 23. You say we can't beat Mali here in Ghana?
If they play well.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And we can't.
If Mali 2 collect, if Mali 2.
You're not better than them.
That's I was coming to it.
I'm not saying that we are better than them.
If Mali
No, if they also do same, no.
that's what I'm saying. If Mali
No.
if Mali to bring all their best 23.
No.
Mali they play ball.
No. Mali they play ball.
Malian players in
Brother.
Europe.
No, they
Even in Mali.
No, it's not even that, Danny. It's not just that the Malian
Who
players
beat
in
Mali?
Europe.
Who beat Mali in the playoff to the 2022 World Cup?
Tunisia.
Yeah,
Tunisia.
yeah.
You see, it is not that Mali they can assemble. We do have some decent players.
But
They
you
have
do
the
you
quality.
assemble?
But
They have quality.
Gary, are we forgetting so soon that we're going to play against Nigeria? What didn't people
Oh,
say? Are
you
we forgetting
see-
so soon?
you see,
Our
unlike
So this thing about
no.
I'm just buttressing the point that this thing about okay, it's good you can assemble quality and all that. But at the end of the day, football has its own story.
But you see, even before the Nigeria game,
Yes.
when was the last time Nigeria beat Ghana?
Yeah, Nigeria's record against Ghana is
They
very
don't.
good.
But Mali, you don't have to go to.
Fentuo
CK went there and did agro and took 3.
Fentuo, you were part of
In Qatar.
the people who were mentioning the names of the Nigerian players
Yeah, I was part
where
of
they were
that.
playing.
Yes.
The front line alone, and you were just opposing against our defense. How are we going to cope with them? But we did. You were putting shivers down our spines every day. When I saw a tweet, then my heart was all over the place. How were we going to? How were we going to survive?
You defied the odds.
We defied the odds and we qualified. The record is there. It's clear.
So that's what's gonna happen
It's
again.
clear. I'm
in
not saying
2026.
necessarily that's what's going to happen.
As
all I'm saying is
let me
that.
just finish by saying, as Amajan said, what? And I like his summary of what he said at the draw. He said we've been consistent, and it's like we have become used to the World Cup.
Yeah.
That was a very interesting to say.
Yeah.
You know, and that if people at home are very expectant.
Yeah.
But are people at home expectant like that?
Oh.
No, on a more serious note.
think
You
they
see,
are.
one thing I know is that
For 2026,
Ghanaians are
yeah.
expectant.
For 2026,
and they pretend like they don't
Pretend
care.
that you don't care.
That's the
Don't
thing about
qualify
the-
this.
Especially for 2026.
They're pretending like they don't care. But if they don't qualify, this team is dead.
People will pretend like they don't care until we don't play well. Oh, but in more recent games that Ghana has played, we've gone into the game thinking Ghanaians don't care. They are not even watching. But when the game is ongoing or it ends, then you know that everybody was watching.
If you like,
It's not when it's
do
ongoing.
space.
When the lineup comes out.
Then you know that everybody's
You
interested.
know the good thing though, the good thing that I picked up from all these things is that at least for once, it's just like in a Nigerian situation. Ghanaians are prepared to shelve everything and put everything into our qualification.
Yes,
Which
because
is very, very positive.
because for the first time, everybody,
is very, very
no,
positive.
because for the first time, everybody's self-interest will be saved if the team
So
qualifies.
I'm happy. I'm very, very happy that at least
Gary,
this notion
yeah,
of the
just
disconnect
wrap
won't
up for me.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
for you think we have quality
I
if
know-
we
you
assemble
see-
the right players?
Exactly. Probably home and away against Mali. That one day I'll leave an XX there. Home and away against Mali. I'll leave an. But if I have to put my head on the block for, if we organize everything, we should be able to, match the others boot for boot. That's what I'm saying. Right?
Interest.
And the Central African Republic coach, he says what? Danny, what did he say? I put the thing on the group. He said they are targeting the playoff. So you see, that's very interesting.
Eric says, to be honest, this is Eric on Twitter. It says, to be honest, the Black Stars can qualify from the group if the GFA stop the politics and allow the coaches to call the right players who deserve to be in the team.
All I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, that's
But
why I
Fenz,
had to read that message.
Fenz,
Because that's the message you're sending
from
across.
the World Cup.
Yes?
As for the AFCON, I won't go there. That one I also believe in it. But from the World Cup
We've
to our recent
selected them.
qualifiers,
has not been the
98% or 99% of the players we've called have deserved to be there.
to be there.
Still, we know the seat top. So it's not like they've called
No,
some
you,
players.
no, you have a point.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not like some
We've got our best
wildly
players.
talented players have been left out.
Yes, we've called our best players, and even the players.
Maybe some 1 or 2 be.
And those that we're calling for them to go to the World Cup, maybe the only name would be Pencil.
Yeah.
But when the boy has come to play, he started the last game. He said be some way. So it's not like we've left.
No, he's making a good
and
point.
it's true. I want Ghanaians to move away from. I want Ghanaians to
some way.
That's not the problem. The problem is not selection.
Yeah, the problem hasn't been selection for a while. Especially under Chris Hughton. He hasn't necessarily
So there are
been
two
selection.
types of selections here.
Yeah.
Squad selection and
Starting 11
The starting
selection.
11 staff has been okay. Still.
So
some
why
way.
are we not playing well? Is it tactics?
It could be tactics, it could be players
could be
underperforming,
Sum
it could be like I told
is
you.
it motivation?
Like I told you last time, there's something about the Black Stars that we need to work on. The team manager is here. She tell the team that we need a psychologist, not one, maybe 2. I have a genuine feeling that when the players are put on that shirt,
They are afraid.
they are afraid they are playing within themselves and they are under some immense pressure from somewhere. Because nobody can tell me that the ball Partey played for Arsenal, the ball Samet played, the ball Joseph Pencil played,
and the one they played at the World Cup.
The ball Jordan played for Roy Hodgson. The ball this guy Edu played in La Liga. When they turn up for the Black Stars, the boys are playing within themselves. They are playing scared. They are playing anxious. Nobody wants to make a mistake.
Maybe we also have a role to play as people.
Even Kudus.
Yeah, maybe we are putting too much pressure.
When you go to Real Madrid, Vinicius Junior is under pressure.
I'm just making
Rodrigo this. When you go to Brazil, they are all under pressure.
You know, because
when you go to England,
before you come in the advantage is the research you did. You know, in
yes, I've spoken about this
new
before.
Media.
Yes.
Yeah, look. We also have a role to play in helping our teams perform. Let's not kid about it. I'm not saying they are professional, they should be able to deal with pressure properly. But if we have a way to help our team by way of, you know, easing the pressure on them, and even when things don't go well, even in real game situations, you know, let's try. Because in few times where I've just done a cursory observation of our performance, in times where we didn't really care about the results and we're all up for it, pumped up for the game. Everybody was whipping in line in a certain direction. We've delivered.
Like
Nigeria. We had issues. No, our team was underperforming over a period of time.
Yeah, but before Nigeria,
even there was a situation where the squad wasn't released and people.
That withholding the squad.
The point I'm making,
didn't that in itself put pressure on
the point I'm making is that, but even with that, we found a way to whip up support. And the mindset of the country, I wasn't here, but I could feel it wherever I was.
I mean, what you are forgetting though, what you are forgetting though is that I tell you right now, Ghana against Nigeria is a self-sell.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. No, but
it is.
The thing is,
it
for
is.
Ghanaians, before and post game, the reactions are different. On the match day, they will support you.
Yeah.
Before Nigeria's game, most of the Ghanaians were saying that Ghana won't qualify.
Yes.
Ghanaians were saying that maybe some were skeptical, saying that we cheated South Africa to even qualify from the group.
Yeah.
Nigeria have got so many players, they'll beat us home and away.
Yes.
Yeah. But when the game started, we wanted them to win.
When the game started, we wanted them to win. What we need is, we can't control what our people will do. Let's deal with what we can control. What can we control? We can get people to psych our players.
True.
So team psychologists.
We went to the World Cup with that one. We still travel around with that one.
We can do all the psyching, but also what I'm also saying, if there's something that we can do from our part, of we the ones who are supporting.
So like what? We should stop.
I have given you a clear
the players.
No, I've given you a clear example. For instance, you know, in group qualification like this,
yes,
usually the match days are days in between.
Yes.
You could lose a game, but perhaps the way we react has a way of influencing the next result.
So, for example,
if Ghana
performance, yes, but if Ghana lose a game, we should do what?
I'm saying we should be
fair to,
but you know how some people can go box. We know some people can go bonkers, and you know.
So if we lose a goal, we shouldn't do space.
No, wait. No, you see,
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Let me bring in Daniel now.
No, you see, you might think it's a joke, but it's serious. When it comes to this Black Stars team and abuse, there are 3 players who take the abuse.
It's not everybody, it's true.
It's 3 players who take the abuse.
Jordan,
Baba Rahman. Yeah. They take the blame for everybody.
Partey is never abused.
Partey is never abused.
Kudus
doesn't get abused.
Nobody does.
Kamaldeen, the rest of the guys.
So if they are,
no, I don't abuse. There's not criticism and there's abuse. if there's underperformance throughout the team, I will not go with Aminu's point saying that we can do our part. If Jordan is underperforming and you say that maybe because people insult him too much, I may agree, because it's Jordan Dede and Baba Rahman, and we know when the lineups come out, even before the referee do pay, Jordan and Dede are already trained. At call up people, they should get out. We don't like. You see, those are the ones who take the abuse. But the general team doesn't necessarily get abuse. It's usually GFA, Jordan, Dede, and Baba Rahman. They're the ones who get the abuse. So the playing body,
it's true.
The playing body,
have that excuse.
They don't have an excuse in terms of abuse, but in terms of mentality, understanding the situation, understanding understanding the jersey you are wearing and showing up and playing the sort of football that you expected to play. That's where they need to be spoken to. But in terms of abuse, these boys they've not faced it.
But nobody worry party for this.
Nobody they worry party.
I say. The day I knew some players were easy target, Baba Rahman didn't even start the game.
He didn't start.
And when I was watching the and somebody said Baba Rahman, then he shouted. He's not even in the game. True story.
I was telling you. I know the accounts. I know the accounts. I see them.
I saw a tweet. Somebody just tweeted, hey, Baba Rahman, then he shouted. All these players, they play blaster. He wasn't playing.
At the very least, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Well, we get it. And Daniel's point is valid. That it's not the entire team. Some players actually underperform all the time.
All the time.
And nobody talks about it.
Never get abused.
You target certain players for abuse, and it has a ripple effect on other players.
True.
I've seen it several times.
True.
They see it. Their friends see it. Their family see it, and they are like a clique. You know, they are together. So you touch one, and especially when it's very, very unfair and very, very biased, it sometimes has a way of poisoning the vibe. The point is that I'm happy it's 2026. It's America, it's Canada, it's Mexico. From all the tweets and from all the reactions I've observed, it appears we are swimming in a certain direction, which is very positive.
That the tide is going one way.
So it's up to the team also to
Daniel, your thoughts on the group itself?
On paper, we should be able to qualify.
Okay.
Quick.
Even on the pitch, we should be able to qualify because it's a long qualification process.
10 matches, that's a lot.
3 years ago, we were not here.
Yeah,
so 3 years from now, we may be better, we may be worse. But God willing, we'll be better. But where? Oh, Charlie, God where?
Inshallah.
No, the Ghana God or the Mali God or the Car God.
No, the Ghana God.
Okay.
But you know me and the Ghana God, we go way back. My problem is with our away form.
Yeah.
And if you follow African qualifiers, you know that home form is very important. If you can go away and pick up some good points, you are more or less home and dry. But Ghana has a very poor away record. In our last 19 away games, and that is taking into consideration tournaments because we've not hosted, plus qualifications, plus friendly games.
Every game we have played outside Kumasi.
Just three.
Accra.
Outside Ghana.
Yeah.
We've won just 3 of our last 19.
Over 19.
We can't win.
That is abysmal.
And you see,
We've won
and the
against
teams-
Nicaragua then since.
Nicaragua,
Yeah.
we've won against Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Yes, we beat
Yes,
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe,
And then South Korea in the World Cup.
Yeah.
That is terrible.
That's
Considering the
unbelievable.
fact that we face Comoros, we face Madagascar,
Yeah.
Central African Republic,
Japan.
teams like this. And you
Chile.
see, when I looked further into those games into context,
Hey,
I look at the.
Did you add the Qatar match? We won friendly.
That one is not part. I started
But
from
you
the
counted the
20
Mali
No. I
defeat.
started from the Mali one.
But the Mali one, it was the same
so
time.
4
It
over
was a
19.
double header.
So 4 over 19.
Thank you.
4 over 19.
because if not, CK is texting me, but I won against Qatar.
Charlie, you see, when you go into those games and you look at them into context, you look at the games that we didn't win. You look at the Central African Republic game, and you look at the team that played on the day.
Yeah.
There's no reason why that team shouldn't have been able to beat Central African Republic. In fact, I call that team the popular Demand 11.
Yeah.
During that time, they were the players that Twitter and Facebook were saying should be playing.
Osman and Pencil.
Osman and Pencil.
They were there.
And Otuado
listen to
said,
the phone-in
okay,
program,
fine, take.
Those who don't even know them are mentioning
They
their
are even
names.
mentioning their names.
And they started nicely.
And they started nicely and
in
still
in some
failed to
way.
win.
Yeah.
You look at the Madagascar game we just played. Look at that starting.
It was also a start them 11.
Start them 11. They've played.
Everybody.
How on earth are you not winning that game? You look at the Angola game and you see, all due respect to Angola, but when you look at the other teams in fact, you look at the teams in Pot 1, with the exception of Nigeria, they are like us. We are all not serious. When you look at the likes of Mali, Tunisia, Morocco, these guys have the ability to go to places like Angola and win. These Pot 3 teams, they can go there and beat them home and away.
Yeah.
They can do it.
Easy crowd.
Easy. The more difficult ones are the Pot 2 teams for them. So if we Ghana, we are struggling with Pot 4, Pot 5 teams going away to go and beat them. Mali do that easily. And that's not my, you see, my problem is not when we face Mali. Because you don't win leagues like that. You don't win leagues in head-to-head. We can go and draw the 2 games with Mali and we've got a good result.
And that would
but
be
what
good,
do we
actually.
do? That would be very good.
Yeah.
But what do we do when we go to Chad? What are we doing
That's
when we
the
go to
point.
Central
The
African
same thing they
Republic?
talk now. That the Mali,
We have
you
to
can
find
do
a
an
way
X.
to win those games.
Exactly.
Because it's Mali will do it. That's just plain and simple. Mali will go and win.
True.
So when you go away there, this record is
It's
appalling.
not inspiring.
It's not inspiring at all.
It's the away form, eh?
It has to improve.
And
As for home,
there's something
there,
about us. I don't know if all of you agree, but let me say it in three. I think it will sound
feel free,
better
my
that
brother.
way.
Feel free.
Of him.
I soon more.
You need anything. You see, some of the games you've played away.
We don't be irate.
We don't have to play. There are some games you don't have to play well to win.
Just win.
You have to go and steal the win. You have to bully. I was saying, who bully?
That
You have to-
that is the team of 2010. That's what they do.
That is,
I was coming to
absolutely.
that.
That is the team. Like Canada didn't always play well.
No.
All of us remember. There were certain results that we just won.
That's
like
2010 team.
near ding by hook or
It's
crook,
called-
we will win.
it's called-
This team.
So what you're saying is that the
Championship
team needs to have a
mentality.
personality.
We
This
need-
team
we
currently
need-
has
we need-
no
We
personality.
don't have
Zero.
absolutely zero.
Zero personality.
Like,
Zero.
To paraphrase yesterday, I was listening.
Not
to-
personality. So the team has no personality.
The team.
To
That's
paraphrase.
the difference.
Yesterday, after the thing, a Malian journalist was, and I think I sent you the Lawrence. I think I sent you the quote about the Malian journalist to add to the story. He said in Mali, the fear factor of Ghana is gone.
they're not afraid.
They're not afraid of Ghana.
No, they're not. They're not.
Who-
But
but
there
they
is
beat us-
something
they
beat
beat
us.
us all the time. No, and you see, that has stemmed from
U17.
they now have a
U20.
culture of at beating us
Yeah.
everywhere.
That's where Burkina Faso have gotten to now.
Exactly. When they catch us in the backyard, they will beat us.
The way we don't respect Nigeria, but other people they fear Nigeria.
Exactly.
Anyway, guys, thank you. This is Game Plan on Joy 99.7 FM. We're having a conversation about Ghana's group in the World Cup draw. Let me take you through the other groups, and we'll quickly touch on them because the other groups are really, really difficult as well. Nigeria and South Africa in the same group. My word, that is.
I'm a piano derby.
Oh goodness!
I'm a piano versus Afrobeat.
That is always something. That is always something. So, it's one of those things. So, let me just go through the rest of the groups. It's 9 groups overall. There are 6 teams in each group, and the top of the group will qualify automatically. As I explained, Africa has 9 automatic places. There is a quarter place, and the 4 teams that will finish second in their groups, the top 4 teams that will finish second in their groups will play a mini tournament. The winner of that mini tournament will then play an intercontinental playoff
Long things.
for that remaining slot. If you can get it, then Africa will have 10. If not, then it's the 9. So Group A has Egypt, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Bissau, Sierra Leone, Ethiopia, Djibouti. Daniel.
But you're asking me this. Who do you think will qualify?
No, everybody's pick is Egypt, but Burkina Faso are a real.
Egypt will qualify.
Wow. Okay. Senegal are in Group B alongside DR Congo, Mauritania, Togo, Sudan, South Sudan. This is pretty straightforward. Probably the most.
They
straightforward.
celebrated when they got a group.
Yeah, Senegal.
Probably
Senegal.
the most
Senegal
straightforward
should-
group.
Yeah.
Because DR Congo are no longer that good.
Yeah.
Group C: Nigeria, South Africa, Benin, Zimbabwe, Rwanda, Lesotho.
Difficult one.
Very difficult.
Difficult because Nigeria sometimes also falter when they are away.
Yeah.
And especially
And even
against
at,
South Africa.
and even at home,
even
even at home, there are times they just go off like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they also it's a tricky one
This
for
team
them.
And of course,
Nigeria
Benin
will-
are currently coached by Nigeria's former coach. Get it wrong.
Who has
There
an
you
axe
go.
to
Who
grind?
has an ask to grant? They've not finished paying him his salary.
Group D: Cameroon, Cape Verde, Angola, Libya, Eswatini, and Mauritius. Gary.
Say again.
I don't know. I saw him.
No.
Pay attention.
I'm paying attention.
Group D:
Yeah.
Cameroon, Cape Verde, Angola, Libya, Eswatini, and Mauritius.
It shouldn't be too difficult for Cameroon, but
They
they
do some
too
love for slack.
they're
They
having
too somewhere,
serious
yeah.
issues right now.
Some was like by you too.
No, they'll do it, but they'll use the last day.
That's a good point. They're actually having some serious issues.
They
a
are.
couple of Division 3 clubs have signed a
A
petition,
petition for Eto'o to
for-
resign.
to force Samuel Eto'o to
Yeah.
resign.
Yeah.
And they say Samuel Eto'o has run the association down.
Mm.
They didn't participate in the Central African U20, the waffle thing that we played.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
sub-regional one. Cameroon couldn't send a team because they said they didn't have money.
Mm.
The association is broke. Samuel Eto'o signed a deal with a betting company to sponsor the league in Cameroon, and he's become an ambassador of the same company. And the clubs are up in arms because they feel that what he did is in violation of the FIFA Code of Ethics.
So they also written to FIFA.
They've not also written to.
They've not written to FIFA, but they have
also written to FIFA.
I was asking. So they've also.
No,
there's no also. There's no also here.
They've written to FIFA. Have they written to FIFA?
There's no also here.
They've not written to FIFA.
You didn't get the point. I was trying to.
It's
In one case, members who are writing petition.
Yeah.
In another case,
it's an outsider.
we don't know who.
It's
we know a name. We know a name.
In our way, we know who. It's a whistleblower. It is in the books.
No, but he's not a member, is it?
It doesn't. Why? Whistleblower has to be a
I'm
member.
just giving you the.
No, we are not. I'm saying that it is inconsequential. A whistleblower
No, it's
doesn't
consequential
have to be.
in the comparison with the one in
okay,
Cameroon.
cool.
That's what I'm making.
No, but I just want to know. So in Cameroon, members have written to FIFA.
They have filed a complaint.
Sure
it's not a FIFA. It's not FIFA. They've written to the Ministry of
their ethics.
Yes, of the Cameroonian Fecafoot.
Right.
Okay. To complain about Samuel Eto'o, and they also say that Eto'o, no, he himself, he's broke, and that he's living in a hotel at the expense of Fecafoot. That's why it's a problem. At the expense of Fecafoot, that he's siphoning association money and paying hotel bills because he's coming off a suspended 24-month prison sentence from Spain, where he was found guilty of image right or tax evasion from his image right. So he's in all sorts of trouble at the moment in Cameroon.
Then my man, you don't get problem like that too. So why they stress?
Samuel Eto'o, he hot baskets.
It'll be Eto'o. I say my man.
Your man no get problem.
If Eto'o get these issues, where is today? Then my man no get issues.
Eto'o's issues.
No, my man no get issues.
So what I was looking for that USA where was my mind is I had made a few notes about the rest of the qualifiers. In terms of what the strongest group is, that will be Group B. Fent.
Yeah.
Group B, the Senegal group.
Yes, we've gone past there.
No, I'm saying you've mentioned all the groups.
Not I went to Cameroon and then Samuel Eto'o came up.
Okay.
So I'm in Group D now.
Yeah.
Group E is where Morocco, Zambia, Congo, Tanzania, Niger, and Eritrea are.
Yeah, that'll be Morocco. Zambia.
That should be Morocco.
Yeah.
Morocco,
Group
Zambia.
F is Cote d'Ivoire, Gabon, Kenya, Gambia, Burundi, Seychelles.
Well,
Cote d'Ivoire will struggle
against Gambia
I think
I think Gambia will pose a bigger challenge in this group
to
than Gabon.
Actually.
Yes. Group G, Algeria, Guinea, Uganda, Mozambique, Botswana, Somalia.
So Algeria are having issues since they are not as consistent.
Since their run came to an end.
Since their run came to an end.
Guinea to chance.
They are what?
Guinea to the chance.
Yeah, true.
So Algeria should navigate it.
No, Charlie, if they don't settle their internal issues,
Let me just run through the rest of the groups, and Gary, you can share your notes with us. Group H has Tunisia, Equatorial Guinea, Namibia, Malawi, Liberia, Sao Tome.
Tunisia.
Straight up.
They've got to grind. They know how to just grind.
They always know how to qualify.
They grind. They bully.
And Group I obviously is Mali, Ghana, Madagascar, Central African Republic,
Ghana.
and Chad.
Right.
Gary, quick one.
So I was saying the strongest
we
group.
need to grind. You talk about grinding our results. We need to grind Aminu.
Yeah, Aminu. So Group B is the strongest. The one we said is straightforward in terms of based on the FIFA rankings. Right. The lower the total, and then the stronger the group. So you've got Group B having the top 2, the top 3, and the top 4 in Africa as well. And then Group F is the weakest, the Cote d'Ivoire, Gabon, in terms of the FIFA rankings as well. But in between, there's so many subplots. Tunisia seem to meet Equatorial Guinea in every qualifiers.
That fixture is very. That fixture is being common.
And then guess what? There's the South Sudan and Sudan are in the same group.
South Sudan and Sudan.
Unless that one they have
is something.
They'll play it Morocco.
They'll play United Nations.
That game they can't play for Ghana here because you have to move away from there because.
So these are some of the subplots. I mean, and other things as well. Rwanda are looking at they would have finished their new stadium by the time the qualifiers reach the second game.
Rwanda.
Yes, Rwanda. They are building a new
is it the
Amahoro. Yes, they are expanding it. But in the meantime, they've built another one in another city. Then they'll be using that one, and then when all the Amahoro is done, they are looking at finishing in time before the Visit Rwanda deal with Arsenal is done, so that they can bring Arsenal's first team to come and play.
Freshly from Rwanda.
Yeah. Oh, he's a Rwanda. He's visit Rwanda ambassador. I tell you, Gary's. Ahmed Daku says some people are still sending name suggestions. Ahmed Daku on Twitter says Agromu stem.
for how? So like Italy have Catenaccio, Brazil have what? Jogo Bonito, and Ghana have what?
Agromu stem.
Agromu stem. How the English commentators mention that?
Agromu stem.
Agromu stem.
Let me take a few messages, and lots of you have been sending in your thoughts regarding the conversation whether or not Ghana will qualify for the World Cup. This message here simply says, yes, indeed, there's too much talk in Ghana, and all right, so but very little action. Okay, thank you, no problem. Preman for lawyer. Baby Safu says, Fent, I mean, you should stop being disingenuous. Italy won the World Cup with the most negative country and media on their neck. He expects us to clap for Dede after that crocodile story about the penalty miss. Or was it Gary who kicked the ball for him? Interesting.
Me, what I do?
People, maybe Safu. People vex. OP Zamani also on Twitter says, listening to the team manager of the Black Stars, I can conclude that he and the entire handlers of the team do not see the need for a team psychologist. I think Aminu hasn't said that.
No, Aminu hasn't said that.
He said he's concluding based on what Aminu has said or what he hasn't said. So I don't know. So
if you talk problem, if you don't talk
listen, don't assume.
Eric, this is Eric Enzo Houseboy. Eric Ayimbisa on Twitter says, I think some players feel reluctant because their positions are secure and their positions are no-go areas. So we should do away with those players. The hashtag is game plan. The Twitter hashtag is game plan. The WhatsApp number is 055 1111997. 055-11-11997. Let me continue.
I have a comment here
with some messages.
Yeah, a message as well.
Oh, okay.
The Lalom says, we go bring back Mali them a fear factor. Make them see say no be fear factor with the take play ball.
Yeah.
And he says that. Even when it was 5 countries, we qualified now 9 countries.
Holali Mosi says, Charlie Fentuo, one of these days you need to bring Sack to the studio. This beat before the show is always fire. You're loud and clear in Tema, Newtown as well. More messages, quite a lot of them. This one is from Tojo from Tema Newtown. It says, Ket is the reason our football keeps going down. We were fortunate to have qualified to Qatar 2022 through our usual ways and means. He's a waste man. Hey people talk. Waste and means. Say you were there, when they were doing the waste of means. But let's keep the language
temperate.
Yes, very, very, very considerate. And stop calling people names. Let's just keep it intellectual. Hello, friend. I'm enjoying the discussion. This is Stanley Nachimota. Please remind Daniel Cranton that the last time we played Mali, our players were running away from the ball. The famous Patrick Akoto audio. When the ball or a pass is coming to a player, he was running away and hiding and leaving the ball behind. It was like Telemundo. Yeah, I remember that. Good afternoon, Fentuo. A quick correction. We didn't beat Mali home and away in qualification for South Africa 2010. We won 2-0 in Mali but drew 2-2 in Kumasi. Koko Ninja in Osu. All right, that's true. Thank you for that. This one said, good afternoon. I'm really enjoying Game Plan. It's my favorite sports show in Ghana. Gary, Sicho, and Danny, you're too much. Honestly, I least expect Ghana to qualify from the group. So keep my mind at peace. To keep my mind at peace, I've trained myself to be indifferent when it comes to supporting the national teams and the local teams. It seems we've not been learning as a country. No matter how long you run, if the direction is wrong, you will never get to your destination. Let's stop tickling ourselves. Ghana has the least chance of qualifying from the group, looking at the trajectory of our football currently. If they do qualify, I'll be happy, but I won't bet on them. The irony is that those in charge of the football in Ghana are not seeing anything wrong with the current trajectory of Ghana football management in the country. He sent us a really long message. You don't add your name. Okay, there. His name is here. It says, when other nations are intentional about football development, we are here doing try and error with too much complacency. Anyway, do some news on Real Madrid. His name is Dale. He's a Madridista and he's listening to us from, you guessed it, Spain. All right, let's take more messages. This one says, Nick CBG. He says, good afternoon. If Ghana stop inviting IMF players, we shall qualify. He says. This one says, hey, agenda is nice. Please, he says, Blasters need a Fenajan.
Wait. Aminu says, what is IMF?
International manufactured. I'm just is that right?
IMF players.
Internationally
It was no. It's Ajimambadu who coined that phrase.
What does it mean?
He says IMF players refer to players born abroad. So players coming to give us aid.
But they are Ghanaians.
So
I didn't know.
So in football terms, international manufactured players or footballers, internationally manufactured footballers.
But they are Ghanaians. They are Ghanaians.
Okay. You know what? This is what Badu said about the IMF players. Just listen to him.
Do we have a talent identification a department at the SA? It's a crucial question because when it comes to talent identification, they have some very serious things you need to look at when you want to bring players. Like right now that our league is messed up and we are not getting the players yet, and we are on an IMF bringing players on board. When you go for the IMF players from Europe, we need them. They have talent, but you need to add serious things. One is socialization. 2, culture. And 3, psychological.
That's right.
It's
academic. In fact, you know what?
Point.
Let me continue that voice. He explained those 3 things in this interview. Here.
Socialization. Is he a person that you can socialize with everybody in this country? Because you know how our game is. Can he be socializing himself with them, with the country? 2, psychological. Have you heard what is going on in the country? How our football is managed? How people have that kind of zeal for the game if things doesn't go on well. That is psychological side. Then the culture. Will it fit in the culture that we have here? So it's not like the person is there, he's playing well, and that is it, you need to go for him. These are kind of petty things we need to learn from. Then you build your Ghana Premier League. You are so-called Ghana Premier League, you think one of the best league in the Africa. And when you are going to the national teams, all your players who have played well, go keen, best players, some sit on the bench all the.
All right, so that's Ajimambedu. Very.
Nicely into the DNA conversation.
Oh yeah, it's very important. It's very important because I remember the Adam Kwarase. I had an interview with him where he talked about that, and he said it's an important element that was left out when he was brought into the team. There were so many teams that. Like so many things he wasn't familiar with, and there was nobody to really take him through an orientation process and say, this is done like this is done like that, this is done like that. So sometimes they can feel a bit alienated.
On the contrary, Kevin Prince Boateng succeeded because when he came, he had a group of boys who helped him assimilate.
There you go.
And he immediately had Jordan, Andre, ACN, Sule.
Yeah.
And they helped him, just get into the groove immediately. So
some people too, they can survive everywhere.
Yeah, Gabriel, that's why I said
guys.
When it comes to Blasters, sometimes everybody and their agenda. Gabriel says the Blasters need a Fenajan to put pressure on the opponent's defense. My one Ghana, please. All right, Gabriel, thank you for your message.
Hey, the message is plain to you.
Yeah, I'm going to read them. This one says, as usual, Ghanaian sports journalists have started their thing. Everything is our fault. Can someone give me the quality we have in Ghana apart from Partey and Kudus who can make any first 11 in top European team? The rest we have are average players. Let's remember, Mali always beats us. Comoros beat us the last time we met them. Madagascar drew with us recently. If we don't take care, playoff safe, we can't make it. Godwin in North Kaneshi.
You said you won.
Godwin says we are overhyping the players. This one is from Nana from Peaceland. He says, please don't put the blame on supporters. If you have ever putting your whole self into a match that you are sure to win, then it turns the other way. You should understand us. If you sat there for ordinary Comoros to beat you, how do you expect me to feel? Nana from Peaceland.
Thank you.
That message.
Thank you.
Charlie, but that game, you know what annoyed me about that game?
Tell me, my brother.
At 2-1, then live in play. then you put Ghana to win because it looks like then 2-2, then you are happy.
Yes.
You see the cash out, you ignore it. Then no 3-2.
My brother. Oh. Hey yo,
Charlie.
Somebody sent a happy birthday message to Angelina Tinkran Odum, and it's from your lovely husband, children, and the entire family. May you experience your best year ever in the new age.
Lovely.
Would will send it out for you.
Yeah.
So
Like I'll sing for her by school.
This one says, "Hi legs." Hey.
No.
He said,
Charlie, see the way his age is showing.
Hey, no, please. Okay. You see, that's the problem. They don't read the messages. You see, that's the problem. Hi, Fentuo. Now I'm not like this. Good afternoon, please. Everyone's okay. So he was having issues with people talking over each other. Thank you. Noted.
It's Aminu.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, and this message says it's from Efo Sami from Winnipeg. You know where Winnipeg is?
Yeah.
Where?
You know, be the Canada back there. Oh, are they like? Oh yeah, he just.
Yes, I think Winnipeg is Canada, right?
Yes, Canada.
Thank God you didn't ask me.
He said, "Good afternoon, guys. I'm enjoying game plan."
I think I said Winnipeg back.
No, Daddy say what? If he say Winnipeg,
back.
Oh my goodness. Oh
I see I promise.
so Winnipeg. So Winnipeg.
All right, guys. Let's. It's okay. Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, man.
Yes, Winnipeg. Winnipeg.
What is it?
I saw. You remember? I saw a tweet from a woman from Angola,
Right.
and she posted a picture on Twitter. And she captioned it in Portuguese, and she captioned it. Hold on. She captioned it. No, it's she. She captioned it. Metabong.
And the angle of the picture and the message of the post.
and the picture that she posted, she took the picture from behind. And yes, her back from her back. And then she posted, and she's overlooking like beach or something. And then she captioned it Metabong.
You the guy that obeyed this thing.
Wait, I mean,
a certain lady has platinated on you.
I think he's a bad man. But you see, that's the funniest thing about language.
Yeah.
You know, like in Portuguese, I didn't even look at what it meant. But I know that it doesn't mean metabong.
So wait. Hold on. I didn't check. What does it means? I'm fine. I'm okay or something. I'm fine.
I'm fine.
I'm fine. Okay.
Yeah, because bomb is kind of like
bomb,
fine.
bomb,
I
yeah,
get it.
bomb.
So metabong in Portuguese is
I
I'm
am
fine.
I'm fine.
Metabong in
And she was fine.
hold on. Metabong in Cecily means nothing.
Please
Yes.
make progress.
Metabong
Please
in
make progress.
metabong in
In Ghana
Ghana
does not mean anything.
anything. Metabong in Hausa
Hausa
means nothing.
Sicho,
No.
Metabong in
We've heard it
Ever
before.
means nothing.
Bats.
Injury.
Let's go for the commercial break. No, you have to read the message.
We may know. Yeah, no, that message just says, "Good afternoon, guys. I'm enjoying game plan. I really wish to see Ghana play here in Canada,
We'll be there.
but I
We'll be
doubt
there,
they will
we'll be there.
qualify.
Oh.
I'm also sad for the Hares and Man United should have been a better send off. Efo Sami from Winnipeg. This is game plan.
We won't go US.
Yes. This is game plan on 99.7 Joy FM. I'm here with Sicho for Philip Batrim. Black Stars team manager Amidi Shadow is here. Gary L. Smith and Daniel Cranton. When we come back from this very short break, we go into details what the Ghana football philosophy is all about. Aminu has a copy of the book. We'll be exposing the most interesting parts of it, and then obviously running up with some transfers. Don't go anywhere.
Joy 99.7 FM. Young continent quiet if it's 1974. I want you in Sampagu, a power so my edibi 2 young hopeful. Yedibi Fagan, Yedibi Suchai and Nancy. Over 20 albums, countless tours around the world, and state performance. World, I present to you the Batomat High Life Night. On the 4th of August 2023, the Accra International Conference Center will come alive with the High Life legend, Batomat. Come and experience style and dexterity for over 49 years in music. Smash hits like Occur for Body, Sikaya Moja, Mewase, Jaisu, Miwakuma, and many more. Other actors supporting Patamas on the night will be Kojo Enchi, Ohinibakisi, Amanteba, Ambule, Kwabna Kwabna, Akwabwa, KK Fosu, Ochami Kwame Yuji, and other surprise acts. Tickets are going out for Standard 300, VIP 500, and VIP Double 800. Ticket outlet Frankie Sosu, Nalem Clothing, Akramo, Total Energy, Patrona Spintex, Alisa Hotel, Ray, Grand Casamora, East Legon. Get your tickets online at vticket.com. Star 713 star 101 hash. Event code 12. For inquiry and sponsorship, please call 0592 919 122 or 0593 433 422.
Despite swearing never to return to the International Monetary Fund after the 16th program for a bailout, Ghana went back to the fund for a 17th program. The effects, a painful debt restructuring and aggressive tax reforms, have brought untold hardship to businesses and consumers. This edition of the Joy Business Thought Leadership Series will seek to examine the impact of Ghana's 17th IMF program and government's policy initiatives to revive the economy in the mid-year budget review. Speakers, Professor Godfred Bokwin, economist and professor of finance at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Humphrey Ayimdake, President AGI, Dr. Joseph Obing, President GUTA, Mark Bedu Abwaji, CEO GNCCI, Yao Apialate, Partner, Financial Advisory, Deloitte Ghana, Edward Karaway, General Secretary, General Agricultural Workers Union, and Noong Falong, CEO of Etheria. Date 18th July 2023, time 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. The program will be live on the Joy News channel and Joy FM and all Joy Business social media handles. The Joy Thought Leadership Series is powered by Joy Business with support from Joy FM and Joy News.
Joy 99.7 FM.
All right, we're back again. This is Game Plan on 99.7 Joy FM. We are on till 3 p.m. My name is Fentuo Tahiru. I'm here with Daniel Cranting, CEO for Flavor Stream, Black Stars team manager Aminu Shadow, and Gary L. Smith, your most authoritative sports show here in the city. I've got a message from our good friend Oscar on Twitter who says that 2026, he says, hi Fentuo, tell the senior journalists that the 2026 World Cup belongs to the next generation. If you're a senior journalist, go and get your visas now and don't come and compete with us in 2026. Interesting. And then this message says, if you have the opportunity to fill the starting 11, which players would you take for the starting 11 for the Black Stars? And very interesting. Joshua Okansi, he says, first, and can this group be Falao, but now the Jinyame. Interesting. All right. Thank you. Your messages are also welcome. Use the hashtag GamePlan on Twitter. On WhatsApp, the number is 055-111-1997. I'll read more messages a little later. 055-111-1997. Let me tell you about Duraplast, who's your guy. I mean, your oldie G for life, who's got your back at all times. Guess what? The rains are here again. And your reliable partner for quality plastic products in Ghana, West Africa, and Central Africa, Duraplast Ghana Limited, says, let's leave no chance to water storage. Get water tank, the only water storage tank with water level indicated to let you know the accurate water you have available. At Duraplast Limited, precision is a virtue we trust most, hence our consistency in providing you with quality PVC and HDPE pipes for accurate and excellent plumbing or electrical works, including drainage pipes for free flow of water without implosive blockages. So when we say 5,000 liters as well, it's 5,000 liters. All you have to do is call Duraplast Limited today on 0242 818 874 0242 818 874 for your water tank and other plastics pipe products, and you can locate them at plot number 1011 12 Dardiman Road, North Industrial Area, Accra North, or locate a distributor close to you for your authentic Duraplast products. Water tank, what a tank! Remember, where Duraplast goes, water flows. All right, Aminu Shadow, I'm going to begin with you. Now, on Wednesday, the GFA launched what they call the Ghana Football Philosophy or Ghana Football DNA. It's a book that basically compiles and makes a determination on how footballers in Ghana should be trained at age 9 all the way to age 23, detailing how our football should be played. And the GFA has a grand plan of implementing this over the next few years to try and put an identity to our football, a style to our football. And Ket called it the greatest gift to our football. I mean, you've been going through the book. I have not had the opportunity to go through it in detail. I was there for the presentation, and I have picked up a few points. But you just take us through what is in this document. Is it just theoretical work, or how does this make its way from the book all the way to the ground?
Well, difficult. That's the difficult aspect of it, implementing all the great ideas that have been captured in this book. And I think we need to even correct the narrative. It's not going to take only the GFA. In fact, it's bigger than the GFA to implement all the lofty and good ideas captured in this book. For instance, I think during the presentation of the technical director, he mentioned there are aspects where you probably need like 5,000 mini goalposts to train
to distribute across the country.
Yes, across the country.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much of a bill for only the FA, and that's just one aspect of it.
Yeah.
So you can just imagine it touches on infrastructure, it touches on funding, and these are areas that we've already recognized that are the biggest bane of Ghana football: our funding, our infrastructure. But then this is something that we've all been yearning for.
What is in the book?
It's a plan. Basically, it's a plan of how we want to be identified as Ghana. When you switch on the television and watching any of the Ghanaian national teams, from under 17 to the Black Stars, same applicable to the women's game. When you switch on the television, even without knowing the description or aside the colors that have been that the players are wearing, the brand of football is what we are looking to shape in. For instance, you look at the Spanish team, and we all know how the Spanish team like to play. Movement, passing, short passing movement. The Brazilian game very, very heavily built on individual technical abilities, flair and all that. The Italian game very, very tactical, very hard to break down. These are teams that we identify certain nations with, and this is what we are trying to do. There have been several areas.
So
where
what will ours look like? Is my question.
Ours, okay. I think
because you just described the Italians, the Brazilians, the Spanish. What would ours look like?
When you look at the objectives, I've looked at the objectives of what this document, if we implement, and there are certain things that immediately caught my attention. For instance, to capitalize on the strengths, and what are our strengths that we've identified: the technique, speed, physicality, creativity, mental strength, and adaptability, and improve on the tactical knowledge of the Ghanaian players. So it even gives you an indication here that we've identified some strengths, but then our weakness is how to improve the tactical knowledge. We all know that has been our bane. Mm-hmm. That we are, by default, we are talented. We are very strong. We have speed. We play with flair. But how do we translate this into a plan for a football game in order to win matches? Because the last bit of the objective is finally the underlying purpose of this philosophy is to play to win.
Ultimately.
So
here's the question. Where's the other question, though? So this is a plan that's put in a book.
Yeah.
Now, this is supposed to be implemented right from under 9 all the way to under 23.
Yes.
Now, we have thousands and thousands of schools where school children play football. Every primary school has a team.
Yeah.
That team is taught by a coach, a PE teacher, a teacher, somebody. How does the GFA intend to ensure that there is nationwide implementation of this right from the basic level, no matter where you are? When you get to a certain level and you play your football, it is identifiable that this is what we want our players to play.
Very, very good question.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was very, very happy with the kind of people who were at the launch. We are trying to involve people, decision makers. There were chiefs in there. There were people from the political class in there. There were coaches in there who primarily are the ones who are going to be trained. But like I said earlier on, the plan goes way beyond the GFA. And that's why the technical director in his presentation gave a roadmap of phases of implementation. We start with having some stakeholder engagement, broader stakeholder engagement.
Yeah.
They are going to meet people within the political class, especially those who are in control of funding. and how for them to buy into this philosophy and put vote resources behind, because at the end of the day it's going to take a lot of resources which only the GFA can shoulder. It has to go into the schools. They are going to engage people in education, people in physical education and all that, even gym instructors. I'm just giving you an idea of how detailed and wider the scope is. Okay. And the TD has given a very broad program of how it's going to hold several seminars and meetings of a sort with these various stakeholders before going into the training phase, where they are going to train a group of people who then also go and train others, and that's how come we'll build from there. Judging from all that I'm saying, it tells me clearly that for we to even, I know people want to see the results. For us, first we have to be very committed to implementing this thing very, very well, and includes a lot. We need to cut out some of the bad habits that we've always identified. We need to put a lot of resources into training and capacity building. I've always hammered on this, and it has been highlighted by several of the performance of the national teams and all that. Mm-hmm. We need to put a lot of funding in infrastructure, because at the end of the day, if you have all the training and the infrastructure is not there, you are doing a more or less a cost 90 job, a guesswork, and that's what we've been doing all this while.
So in fact, the technical director was asked about the limitations that our lack of infrastructure could pose to the implementation of this, and he said that even though we have challenges, especially when it comes to playing surfaces, pitches, he says even on the rough playing surfaces, the grassless pitches, you can still implement this policy. Because it's an idea about playing football. So, and whether the football is being played on grass or is being played on a grassless pitch, the concepts cannot change. Exactly. So he says the ideas must still be implemented. It doesn't matter where you're playing. Yeah,
it's basically a broad-based plan where you can adapt it based on your circumstances. And that's the good thing about this document. It's not a straitjacket concept where you have to go strictly by certain things, or where you don't have certain things you can't implement. It's just a broad-based, a skeleton of a sort, where based on your peculiar circumstances you can adapt. But then at the end of the day, we want to see traces of these concepts in the work that you do. It's a long-term document, and we've gone on and on about how we are always focusing on quick fixes, short to medium-term goals, and how we are distributing footballs, boots, and all, which my brother has a problem with. But that's the reality anyway. That's the reality anyway. You can say all you want to say, but that's the reality anyway. You understand? But then we have to also look at the long term. At the end of the day, what we want to do is to win on all fronts. Yeah. But to get there, we need to do a lot of heavy lifting. We need to put a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of pains. We are not going to get the results now. So I saw yesterday when the book was launched, I saw yesterday already people are saying, okay, we want to see the DNA in the playoff. No. It's not going to happen overnight.
DNA
yes.
Under 20s when they play Cote
d'Ivoire. In the next 5 to 10 years, it goes way beyond that, especially in a situation where we know that resources are going to be very, very difficult to come by. It's something that we need to progress gradually, and then hopefully it will outlive this administration, if indeed this is the way successive administrations will come, and then they will adopt this thing and then go with it. We've always lacked planning in this country. We always say this. So this is the first step. There's a plan. Yeah. Now the most important step is implementation. And implementation involves putting in a lot of resources into it. And I hope that going forward with the kind of stakeholder engagement that they will hold, we'll all get onto the same page and realize that indeed if we say we are a football nation, we need to give meaning to it.
All right, this is what the GFA shared with us, Gary, before you come in terms of like roadmap.
I'm sure questions will go around the table.
Yes.
I mean, we all want to interrogate a few things. So,
I've not finished reading the book, so if you ask me
questions
that
basically, after the launch on July 12th, the GFA says up until July 30, they will do weekly workshops with Professor Minta, Nila Tay, Desmond Ofe, and Benhard Lepet.
That's the members of the technical directorate.
Yes, about alignment to our coaching education, aligning this philosophy to the coaching education that we currently offer.
Very important.
And then up until 30th September, the principles and style of play is aligned to our D licenses, C licenses, and B licenses. I think the first part was for the A. license. And then up until October 31st, developing 100 plus new practical training sessions aligned with our DNA through animation, 3D drawings, and on-the-pitch video sessions. This is what they want to do by 31st October, so that these materials are available for them to use to teach. Now, and then by 30th November, education of the 10 best instructors in the context of our DNA. So when they roll out all these training sessions, they'll choose 10 best ones and then give them some training by November 30th. From December 1st, they want to do two things. A special education program for our youth national team coaches weekly in the technical center. And then B, instructors lead courses in all regions about the DNA to club coaches, private academies, and regional leaders. Now, the content of the courses will include A, why a DNA, 2, the principle of the game playing style, and then 3, the age differentiated training from U17 to U20. And this is what they came up with. I was there, so this is what I picked up. Okay, the education phases U7, U9, U10, U12, U11 will be the basic phase. Okay, then U12, U13, U14, U15, they call it the developmental phase. And then U16, U17, U19 is the high performance and transition phase. And then U20 to U23 is called the professional phase. Now, this is what the GFA says they want to focus on. These are the key elements.
You know what stands out for me? Danny, 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
Oh, no. But clearly, this has been in the pipeline for a while.
2 years.
And
over 200 people
I'm
interviewed.
thrilled that Danny gave a complaint about how our football is not following global standards.
Yes. Yeah.
To the extent that listeners will recall that Danny mentioned that if we are following the FIFA model, which clearly this is,
this one
under 17 is not the place where we should keep saying it is developmental.
No, it's for winning.
When we go for under 17,
it's high performance and transition phase.
When we go for under 17 AFCON, we are going there to win.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been guilty for about the last 10 years. You know, I've always sat on radio and said, oh, under 17, it's not where we should go. But per what we know now in this document, and even globally, by under 17, you forgo win.
Inculcating the habit of winning.
So I just want to say, for those asking what our DNA is, I think this is. I will give you a satisfactory answer of what the Ghana football DNA will look like.
Okay.
It says it will look like there are 4 movements of our football that will become identifiable. What we will look like in what they call the ball possession offensive. That is where the individuals and groups will have the ball in terms of the training, creating and scoring goals. They have what they call the transition to offense, and then transition to defense, and out of possession defense. This is basically the 4 phases where all our footballers will be training on.
Yes.
What to do out of defense, out of possession, how to transition from attack to defense, how to transition to offense, and then ball possession offensive. What to do with the ball going forward. These are the 4 elements that they will be training the footballers on. So what to do when we have the ball.
Question about when you turn on the TV.
Yes.
These are the 4 key things you should look
for.
So if they don't tell you that this is Ghana, you know that this is Ghana.
Yes. So what we are doing when we have the ball. What we do to regain the ball, and what we do when we lose the ball, and what we don't. What we do when we don't have the ball. These are the
it's basically 90 minutes football. That's what happens.
I want to ask Aminu something. In fact, somebody sent me a question I want to put to Aminu to help. And this is the question. It says that to call something a philosophy, it means it has been tested and shown some higher percentage of success. So has this DNA been tested? And if not, why wasn't it tested with some youth teams for a period before we adopted it?
What I do know is that this is a research document and it was born out of certain tested concepts in the past. For instance, it inculcates the multi-system view of the legendary Samade, who used it to train some of the coaches, developmental coaches we have. They were consulted. So yes, some of the philosophy strands of it have been tested and have been proven to be successful at some point in time. We are just looking at how it competes with the modern trends of the game, juxtapose it to the scientific approach, and then maybe adapt it to suit the modern demands of football. So basically, that's what I do.
Gary, did you have something to say, Daniel?
Yeah. No, just to add on to the question. I understand that it's been tested in the past, but football then is very different from football now. So I feel like what the question is trying to suggest is that when the document came out, and just to put some context, like the English DNA document, they selected some academies, tested it there before they finally brought out
basically focus groups.
Exactly, before they brought out the documents as a foolproof thing. So was something like that done, not necessarily using the examples of somebody.
Unfortunately, I'm not a TD. I also benefited from reading. I've not even finished reading the documents. I'll have to find out whether indeed something of that sort has been done.
Maybe I've been tested on the Lion Kings under 17
perhaps. I wouldn't know for a fact.
Under 20 for a while. We made mistakes, we refresh.
Exactly.
The last thing I will say on this, though, before we move on, is that I think this is good work.
Yeah.
It is essential that we help this work. And for me, personally, I feel this is where the government must come in and take a massive interest in. Because to implement this from under 7 level all the way to under 17, I know the GFA have said that they want to create regional teams where this philosophy will be implemented. But I don't think that is enough. And that is vastly inadequate in implementing a philosophy. Because the whole country has to have an identity. We have to treat this document like a GES curriculum.
Yeah, it has to be a syllabus. For sure.
That is what it has to be in order for it to be successful. Because, like I said, every primary school in this country has a team. All the way to JSS, every single one of them has a team. Every single one of them is coached by somebody. Yeah. That somebody is more often than not a teacher. Yeah. Now, how can the government of Ghana ensure that these teachers who are coaching at these primary school levels, are coaching these 7-year-olds, 9-year-olds, how can they ensure that they are all aligned to this philosophy? The GFA can't go around the country training all the teachers from those schools.
They don't have the means.
They don't have the means. The government must step in. A close collaboration with GES will work, where the GES can collaborate with the Ghana Football Association, and then they can hold regional training programs for teachers from all of these selected schools. Perfect. They can even go as low as district level. The GFA doesn't necessarily need to be there all the time. They train instructors. Those instructors can go and train further. But ultimately, bottom line, without a shadow of a doubt, in order for this to be successful, we need GES to be perfectly aligned to this. Because one of the best places we can see this philosophy materializing would be at Milo Games, inter-school competitions. We want to see that these students who are 13 years old, 12 years old, 10 years old, that they're playing a certain style that is aligned to what is in this document. And what's in this document, it's pretty much the most basic way of playing football these days. Because our players, and I looked at the document that they did, they said, the TD in his presentation said that before they came up with the document, they interviewed over 200 people. Yeah. And they identified the weaknesses of the Ghanaian footballer. Among the weaknesses of the Ghanaian footballer, 1, they always won the ball. 2, he said they have concentration problems.
Yeah.
Physically, he said their body orientation is always wrong. These are basic things that are taught. And these are things we need to start seeing at inter-school competitions. That's not GFA's job. They don't organize inter-school competitions.
That's why I said it in my earlier remarks that this document goes way beyond the GFA.
Yeah, and I agree.
The GFA alone, in fact, the GFA alone, limiting it only to the GFA to implement will amount to a total failure of the document.
I agree.
It goes way beyond it. Traditional rulers who need to preserve, local authorities who need to preserve parks for training and all that, rather than selling them to real estate development and all that. It's all, you see, we need to buy into it, and that's why I'm very thrilled about the wider stakeholder engagement that they are going to have. The TD, the directorate are going to go on the wide, stakeholder engagement, just so
we still don't have a name.
But it's good. It's good they've got.
We'll get there.
It's good they've got a document, right, for the stats, because for so long we've said so many things about finding identity and everything. Now to engage these stakeholders, whether government, GS, investors, whatever, if you've got this document, I've not read it. I don't know what is in there, but experts from our technical directorates have worked on this, and I can't even question it because that's not even my field. So if they put this document together, it's a good place to start. When you start engaging stakeholders, you've got something for them to have a look at. Because sometimes when you just speak the words, it's hypothetical. But when it's the document form as this,
they call it codified.
Yes, it's the document, everything, like it makes sense.
It's very structured.
It makes
sense. Somebody wants to know if there are references in the book because there are allegations of stealing from England.
So that was the question I was going to. That was the question I was going to when I raised my hand.
I've not finished reading it.
Yes,
I got it. I got my copy yesterday.
But so yesterday, when I first saw those allegations, when it was launched, I saw a few people in some WhatsApp groups saying they've seen it. So I went to the English document, and the English document itself referenced the origins of what we are seeing that has led England to win almost everything.
And I mean bizarre references.
Exactly.
It's not stealing if there are references.
No, they said that the European game has been modeled a certain way. The English game is typically what? Kick and rush.
Yes,
right?
Very typical.
Yes. The best of tiki-taka, ball retention, and they mix it all up.
Yeah, cocktail.
Just a cocktail. And then they identified that even what they call the English footballer, right? The English footballer, the definition
has to have a profile.
Yes, and it has changed in the last 20 years. Why?
It has.
Because of immigration.
Yes.
Because of immigration.
Yeah.
But we don't have such problems. I mean.
Yeah, we don't. Daniel, a quick one because we have to wrap up.
Very appendix page.
No problem.
Yeah.
Shadow, no problem.
Very
quick. My good friend Annie Elsabiti says, "Per what Aminu has said, the philosophy is a collection of different ideas fused together." I think so. Yeah. Then that is not new. He says you have a paper philosophy that hasn't been applied anywhere. That's a problem. Look, Daniel, briefly,
very briefly, and I don't want to sound like a naysayer, but you see, when it comes to documents like this and implementation, and you look at and you reference what others have done around the world, they start the stakeholder engagements. The government is on board. They know that when we do this thing, we are going to be able to properly streamline this thing across our school systems, across our academies. Now, this is where, for me, I feel there's an inconsistency. In the direction where the FA seems to want to go, based on what we heard from Congress, they say they are maintaining codes football. The structure of codes football is not heavily dependent on education.
Yeah.
So, if you've brought out this document and you are maintaining codes football, how are you going to implement it?
Teach the codes footballers these things.
Because you see, in fact, Ghana's youth football structure is all codes football. So there's no proper education there. And the calls were for us to get a document which is fused with education, as in mathematics, PE education, with GS education, with this GFA syllabus that they've brought out. But if you are going to maintain codes football, where it's when the guys finish school, they come and play for 2 hours and they go home, and that is the direction you want to go. I'm not the one saying it. The GFA president himself said that they are maintaining codes football. How are we properly going to implement this thing? Because I feel like you've already shot yourself in the foot before you started.
Clearly, it has to change. The mere fact that you are maintaining codes football doesn't mean you are going to maintain it in this format as we know it. Clearly, from what you are saying, and I've not read to that portion anyway, I'm very, very confident that we need to make adaptations. Even before the coming of this document, we all knew that we've been operating on a certain system which has proven not to be working.
You can't keep sharing balls.
Of course. That's what they're sharing of balls, my brother. So it will change. We need to adapt to modern trends. And it's an ongoing process which I'm sure we'll get to.
News coming in. Benjamin Mendy has been cleared of all his sexual assault allegations. And there's a picture of him leaving the court and crying.
My goodness.
It's been a very tough
3 years of his career.
It's been a very tough one for him.
Himself is going to Africa.
Yes, absolutely.
We should look into his direction.
Breaking news! Breaking news! Africa-bound Dreams FC to buy Benjamin Mendy.
Consider.
What do you call it? Our good friend Seidu Adamu, Seidu has a dirty mind. He said the name Kolo Toure. I should ask you what Kolo means.
He's not correct.
He's not
He's not correct.
He has my number.
Theophilus in Adenta says, I wish the Blast Stars would start building their first 11 around certain players like Kudus and forget about those old and weak players. I don't know who those ones are. And this one says, I think having a comprehensive working document for our football is necessary. I commend the FA. However, it may not only be on paper. Let's see the actual implementation and monitoring. Friend, don't forget, you promised us a quiz last Friday. Don't pretend you forgot. Tim Gary, we are waiting. That's from there. We'll have that quiz next week. And this one says, GFA must help the local coaches by enabling them to upgrade their knowledge of coaching. I think that is all part of the plan. Thank you so much. That's our show for today.
And thanks.
Yeah.
Considering that we worked with the Ben Kofi document in some form, we didn't do it properly, but if working with that document is said to have been responsible for our dominance without a trophy from 2008 to 2017, Charlie, if we can do small of that.
And that document, it truly did.
Yeah, it did.
By the way, also 4 p.m. today, the Black Queens they start their journey to Paris 2024. They
want to see the DNA in their play.
They play against Guinea at 4 p.m. the first leg of the preliminary round of qualifiers. And also the U20 team, Black Satellites, have been knocked out of the WAFU Zone B competition.
Normal.
They drew 2 games and lost 1.
It's a preparatory
but yeah, thank you so much. That's our show for today. Thank you, Aminu, for coming. Thank you, Sicho. Thank you, Gary. Thank you.
Thanks,
of course, Daniel Krante. My name is Fentuo Tahiru Fentuo. Show produced by Michelle Quayne. Social media from Lawrence and Karim. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.